Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to From the Depths, where we're gonna build a new ship today. Hooray! New ships, people, new ships. What more does one desire? What more indeed? Let's start off with this. Fill her up. Yeah, not quite sure. Let's do something like that. Go faster! Go faster! Something like this? Not... No. Something like this. Yeah, I think I can work with that. It's 271 meters, though. And that is too much for what I want. So let's cut off a part. Still 49. Okay. Okay, we can work with this, I think. I think she's a bit too wide, though, so what I'm gonna do next is make her a bit smaller. And make this section a bit wider again. Okay. We're starting to get something that looks like something I would want to see. Whoops. Well, let's face it, this is making things go a lot faster, isn't it? I am learning in that regard. I am learning. Not much, mind you. Not much at all, but... it's something. Okay, there we go. There we go. Now, you are supposed to be 2. There we go. Bow section. It's a bit much, isn't it? Even I can see that. The idea is good, though. But slightly smaller, please. I could just ignore the stern. If only I could, people, if only I could. Am I gonna make it a double? Yeah, I really should, shouldn't I? Okay. Yeah, in fact, that is no problem at all for this ship. Hell, we can do it properly even. Up to here, that's fine. Now, if I did it properly though, I should have added some poles as well. Poles as in these poles. We're gonna put people in the wall. No, sir, we're not. we go. In fact, Citadel. Citadel may be stronger, right? In fact, I'm gonna add another layer. This will be the Citadel for said ship. Not that it's gonna need one, but still. Or is it gonna need one? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Let's mark off these areas as well. Watertight compartments. 6, 7, 8. I don't want the ship to sink. It's as simple as that. No, I'm not measuring anything, people, in case you're wondering. I'm just placing blocks, and we'll see where we end up with. I have a general idea of what I want to make, but that's about it, really. Okay. Air pumps. Because even though we're gonna need propellers on the bottom side of the ship, I do want to at least try to keep her somewhat afloat. Like this. Ooh. Okay. Let's see what happens if we toss her into the water. Well, she remains afloat. Mission accomplished. And that means green blocks. Ooh. How am I gonna do this though? Or will I go something more akin to this? I think I will do this. Yeah. Whee. Yoink. This is not quite what I had in mind, though. Pardon me. I used a different kind of block than I... Ah, waste of time. But even so, that does happen now and then. I can leave that, that's fine. Give it a bit more personality that way. A ship needs to have some personality, folks. You can't make a ship just a mindless drone. That'd be boring. Okay, now I'm gonna do it like that. I get an idea. Like so, please. Again, personality, folks. There we go. Goes a lot faster that way, doesn't it? Alright. Almost done with this layer. Don't even want to know how much materials we already used, but I'm sure it's a lot. 70,000. And we're not even done with the hull yet. Yeah. Yikes. Luckily, the most serious part of the armor scheme is all but done now. So I'm going to pause the recording here, I think. And I'll see you guys in a bit once the outer hull is essentially done. Yeah, I think I'll do that. See you guys in a bit. So, a little while later, ladies and gentlemen, we now have our hull, the basic hull for our ship. Ship is not as wide as I would have liked her to be, but we can still fix that, I think. I'm gonna fix that, make the blue part a bit wider, easy to do. And then we're gonna work on the superstructure of said ship. You know what? Let's try to do it like this. Just does that work? No. That does not work. Of course that doesn't work, you niblet. And that doesn't work either. That, however, is acceptable. Yeah, I think I can work with this. Can I work with this? You know, there is, of course, an easier solution. That one. Hold on. Yeah, go away. I need to see what I'm doing. That's the one we want here. Thank you very much. No. Yes. Also creates a nice spaced armor layer here that I don't mind having. Back to green. Let's do that. let's do it like that. Okay. Works for me. How small blocks did I use here? No matter, no matter. And alloys. Double check. Okay, that is good. Then make it look better. There we go. Right. Now, I'm going to work on the superstructure. I'm going to do that quickly off screen, I think. It will be more fun that way. Also, a more compressed video might actually be more fun for some people, rather than splitting it out in 3-4 videos all the time. So, yeah, new format. Gotta try it out. See you guys in a bit, once the superstructure is done. Dim-de-dim-de-dim. And we're back. And yeah, part of the superstructure is done. Not entirely though, so I'm not going to reveal it yet. Instead, I'm taking a break from it essentially, and we're going to spend some time in this room here, building something I really shouldn't. We don't have a lot of room. You don't connect, right? Yeah, you don't. It's just... Okay, hold on. First things first, you need to go slightly higher. Then we need some crankshafts. Check. Then I want a different color for my cylinders. And mirror mode, please. Am I going to do it like this? Let's see how far we can get. First things first. Carburetors and superchargers. Second, radiators. Check. You know what? I think we don't need the extra space. So let's just fill it up. Nasty cylinder now. Should be fun. Extra. There we go. Then we need piping. Ooh. to the outside of the ship. Check and check. Resources. I mean, I have the strange feeling. Let's set it to 0.5. That's pretty nice. Engine power is pretty low, though. It is pretty low. Only 2,000. Yeah, like I said, I'm terrible at building fuel engines, people. Like I said, I really shouldn't do it. It doesn't really matter, but I think you need to go in this direction. Oh, we can only have a single one. Oh, damn. Seriously? Yeah. Okay. That's annoying. Not the end of the world, though. If I take these out. Then I can put radiators over here. Can have fuel lines over here. Poof. And carburetor. Supercharger. Oh, look at that. Engine power of 3,000, and if we go to maximum RPM, 4,000. Ooh. What's the material cost again? It's not too bad. You know what? Control. Okay. Water. Off side of the ship. There we go. We got a propeller. How fast can you go with a single propeller? Not very fast, apparently. No, we're gonna need at least 3, but probably 5. I want you slightly higher, though. Like this. That makes a lot more sense. Now, in terms of propulsion, this is what I want to do. Looking at the engine power, it's slowly decreasing. Not quite sure why that is. But with 2 of these fuel engines like so, I mean, look at the materials we're using. We're not using a lot of materials to get moving, which is good. There you are. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a perfect engine, not by a long shot. But I'd like to think I'm starting to get the hang of it. Yeah, we're doing 18 meters a second. That is acceptable for what I want. 20 would be better, but if I get 2 of these engines, yes. That'll be my engine room. Well, my first engine room. It's either this, or I can go with a steam turbine. Officially, we would need to go with a steam turbine, but I feel like going diesel here. Fuel. And I like the low material cost, so yeah. Okay, I'm gonna fix up the propulsion, and then I'll be right back. So, we fixed our propulsion somewhat. Not quite. Still need to do the turning, maneuvering propulsion essentially, but overall, yeah, we're getting there. I've added a second engine. It's slightly smaller than the previous one. The room is slightly smaller, so yeah. And together, these two engines provide only 7,000 materials, but that is enough to power the propulsion going forwards and the amount of thrusters I need by now to keep the ship upright. To keep it above the waterline, I mean, not upright. It is relatively stable, not quite. The center of mass is slightly off. Maybe we can see it there. You can hardly see it, but it's like tiny bit to the side. The tiny bit to the side is due to a funnel that is to the side of the ship and not exactly in the center. Ooh, look at that. We don't have the fuel now. How expected. Resources. Let's add a big fuel box there. And one there. Is that enough? We can actually see that. We have 800, yeah, 450. Not quite enough. But for now it's holding, oddly enough. However, let's just add a second fuel box. That will create some lovely fire if this thing ever goes up in flames, but hey, worth it, right? Worth it. Okay. There we go. Now, what's next? Next is we're doing 20 knots. We are doing 20 knots, my friends. Look at that. I fixed the engines. Well, quickly fixed the engines. Also, we are really sideways now. Whoops. But this is the propulsion for the ship. I think it looks okay for now. Let's get the ship balanced out, though. That means adding an AI. You know, this is actually a decent enough room where I am now for the AI, right? Yeah, it is in the Citadel, so... Alright, goodbye control. That is not gonna bite me in the ass, I'm sure. Let's be smart about this, though. start off with a bunch of rubber to protect it from EMPs. Because you know, EMPs suck. Okay. Then I want the card slot modules. Do I need an aim point selection and target prioritization? Do I need that? Not really. Now we can just do this with the normal stuff. Meaning like this. We are going to circle at 4,000 meters. What's the maximum? 5,000? We're going to circle at 5,000 meters. We are a water vehicle, and we are a ship or a tank. The question is, though, hold on, let's finish this up first. I know myself if I don't do that. In 5 years, we still have an unfinished AI compartment. Heavy armor. Metal slope. Heavy armor. Okay, there we go. Ooh, missed one. There we go. AI compartments. Done. Now, as you can see, we are not quite straight in the water right now. So what I wanted to do... I hope 4 rollers will be enough. Oh, that's a pusher. Nope. You need to be a roller. You need to be a roller. Done and done. Now, turning propulsion. I suppose the most logical place is over here. Fun fact, a small air duct, a small duct, not air duct, yeah, air duct, is enough. It's the wrong color though. But it is enough to allow the water to flow at maximum thrust. Makes little sense to me. But since it's the case, I'm not gonna complain, right? Question is, though, will that be enough to turn? Well, we are turning, but let's be honest. The answer to that question is relatively simple. No. Yep, go away. What are propellers? Let's try that again, but this time one over there and one over here. think that's enough turning at the front of the ship. Now, the aft of the ship. Hello, funnel. Hello, triple armor layer. Okay. By now you guys saw what kind of ship I'm building, right? I would be somewhat disappointed if you didn't see it. If you didn't realize it yet. After all, the clues were above the waterline. First things first though, let's finish up this engine compartment and then I will show you guys. Right. 4 blocks will fall off. That's probably the forward propellers that I have not connected up properly yet. 3. There they are. Yeah. I know myself. I know the mistakes I make. I keep making them. Yes. I know. Point being. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we are working today on a aircraft carrier. A proper aircraft carrier. We have a funnel right now. It is nicely pushing out the gases from the engines, although I do want an extra smoke generator here as well. Something like that. So we can have a bit more smoke to the side. Yeah, that's nice. So, aircraft carriers, ladies and gentlemen. On this side of the ship, I will add a bridge in a moment. That will be the next part of the construction. Then we have the front section of the ship here. Of course, an aircraft carrier needs an aircraft elevator. Still need to automate it, but yeah. And I'm gonna place a aircraft on top of the elevator as well. You know, just as a model. I think that would be kind of cool. And during combat, I will keep the elevator like this. When there is no enemy in sight, the elevator will lower down into the hangar, I think. Something like that. So, 50 minutes have passed in the video so far. Let's set up at least the basics for the superstructure. Or this part of the superstructure, I should say. Something like that. That will be the format for the superstructure. quickly do that. No. Let's do that. That was not the right color, was it? Color 3, yeah. So this will be the basic position for the superstructure for the carrier aircraft. Well, aircraft carrier, I should say. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, comes an end to today's episode. I thank you very much for watching. Join me next time when we're gonna finish up the carrier, add the gun positions, build the superstructure, and then we can start working on the very fun aircraft that I have in mind. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, take care.